Welcome to our Mastermind call with the Renegades team, where we'll share the secrets to real estate success. Let's jump right in and turn your real estate dreams into a reality.
I want everybody to drop in the chat. What are you struggling with today? What are the struggles that you're encountering?
Not enough hours in the day.
I put staying on task, which kind of goes with that. Not enough hours in the day.
Looks like the bulk of people are saying that there's just not enough time in the day, needing help with Canva, Starbucks bills. let me share with you what my day looks like, because I guarantee if we took 2 days and wrote down everything that we did throughout the course of the day, we would realize that we have plenty of time. We're just focusing on the wrong tasks. This is my calendar. So it's up early, it's at the gym, it's meaningful conversation with my daughter, then it's prospecting, then here's all my appointment times. And then I'm done by 7. I end my day at 7. I'm a firm believer that in this current market, we need to be investing in ourselves more than we ever have before, because it's all about mindset. It's a big mindset game right now, guys. I mean, the market's not as bad as we think it is, but we're right. Creating our own reality and our own perception based on the things that we're hearing through social media, things that we're hearing through media in general. The market's not as bad as everyone thinks. The market is going to be what we make it to be in our own head.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so my recommendation, because everyone mentioned that it seems like they don't have enough time. So I just showed you my calendar. I'll be more than happy to share a screenshot if someone wants to mimic it. But it's very regimented, right? I'm pouring into myself so that I can be the very best version of myself that I can possibly be, because it's more competitive now. I mean, I'm going on listing appointments where they're interviewing multiple agents. So if I don't feel true wellness and feel whole as a person, that's going to affect my ability to close when I'm going up against other agents. In this market that we're currently in, you have to be willing to do the things that other realtors are not willing to do. You have to be.
Catherine, you have a question.
Just had a little comment. So all last year, that was my voice in my head. I'm too busy. I don't have enough time. I wouldn't go out with friends. I wouldn't go do things. I was always just constantly working. And I went to a ladies' business networking empowerment event for 2 days prior to EXPCon. And so this is now what I wrote down. It's on my desk, exactly what we're talking about. Can you read that, or is it backwards?
I have time
Yeah,
for
I can read that.
the goals. I accomplish them with time blocking. I love that.
And now, now this is on my desk, and now it's on my my mirror, and it's also on my fridge. And so I read it every single day, and I no longer say those words that I'm too busy and I don't have enough time, because it's all a choice of what I make in my calendar.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
I just want to give her recognition for that. Like, just whatever it's worth. Like, that's freaking awesome. Like, little things. It's a little thing, but that's called a growth hack, right? It's a mind. It's like understanding your own psychology and working with it. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was what was holding me back, and it was really interesting because everybody else had other things, and I was like, this is my issue. This is my constant thing that I'm constantly saying, and I'm sick of having it define my life. So this is a new one. So yeah, it's possible, people, and it's worked out. Well, I've been doing this for 2 weeks now, and I've noticed huge growth in my business. So
I love that.
I could say I have too, because when you have a time block, then like 2 hours of heavy focus you'll get a lot more work done than like 6 hours of not heavy focus, right?
Exactly.
I'd love to hear if anyone else has any hacks that are working for them to combat the, feeling like there's not enough time in the day.
Well, one thing I can say that I've done is I have an assistant, much like, some of you guys probably do too, maybe all of you guys. And
I'll tell, when we do our meet every day, I say, okay, let's make sure I'm belly to belly. Bring up all the buyers and the sellers that I'm working with now. We have to have a conversation about each person or what's going to happen today with that person. That just keeps, as far as for staying in front of the people, staying in front of everyone, that just made a difference. Sometimes, like you said, you get into busy work, but what's this all about? All of this and all what we do is relationships, belly to belly, talking to people. That's what at the end of the day, that's what we're supposed to do. So that kept things more present with me as well.
So what I heard in there was that your assistant is your accountability partner.
Yeah.
So the importance of having an accountability partner, someone that can be truly honest and open with you and say, hey, Justin, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. This is your goal. This is your why. Let's get back on track. Let's get back on task. Mm-hmm. So I think that's extremely important. Accountability partner. It's important to have someone like that in your life.
Yeah, I think finding accountability partners is what has helped me go from being a regular agent to a going agent, and hopefully a great agent here, And it's funny that you brought up the calendar thing, because I literally did that like 2 days ago. I made my own calendar.
I know,
I saw that. That's
color
awesome.
coded too. I love it. I love it.
Well, with your calendar, Ben, what you've, for Miss Chrissy, I made my goals more specific. So I'm attempting to do 2 appointments on my sessions. And for Ben, I put the little things in, like when my lunch hour is, so I'm not in the middle of scheduling appointments and say, oh, I'm hungry now, and I'll just get up and eat. It's like, well, no, wait a minute. Check my calendar. Lunch is at this time. Keep going.
I love that. Great. That's powerful.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
But until I did this calendar thing, I'd be on my phone calls, and I'd be like, I didn't want to go make a YouTube video, and then I'd jump off, I do, because for me, doing videos and social media was a lot more comfortable for me than making phone calls.
It is for a lot of people. You're not in the minority there. Like I said, a vast majority of realtors will purposely find other things to do to avoid the phone time, because phone time is not fun unless you're Mustafa Sharafi.
That's true.
One comment on that, Ben. So a little growth hack here is make sure that your time blocks are separated. Your sales time is different than your marketing time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that again. Your sales time is not the same time block as your marketing time. And if you have it broken up that way, it's a recipe for failure when it comes to being productive. And that's why it's called a sales and marketing plan.
Isaiah, while you're on that, would you just expand a little more about your 135 program? Because I feel like that's one of the best life hacks I've learned with my time management, because I have all the time blocking, but actual implementation and making that visual plan of it is beautiful. So maybe you could just share that real quick with them, your 135.
Yeah, so along the lines of what we're talking about, I was extremely frustrated when I was put in a position to have to produce and build a team at the same time in 2014. And in that moment of being pissed off and frustration, I started looking for different ways to do it better. And so I came across the 135 plan. And I don't even remember if it was an article or just a YouTube video or something that I watched, but it was really intriguing to me. And basically, they broke it down where they said 1 hour of preparation, which is a combination of personal development, spiritual development, whatever it is to get yourself in the right mindset, but making sure that you planned your day thoroughly and you know exactly who you're calling and how you're going to execute your day. So from your sales and marketing plan is super clear in your head, and that's 1 hour. And if you're a team leader, it's a little bit different, because you're basically supporting your team in this. So you'll help your team and keep your team accountable within that hour, and you might have to do your own 1 hour separate. You get what I'm saying? So like you'll do your own hour separate, but then you'll roll into making sure there's an accountability structure for your team. So that's where it changes a little bit versus if you're solo, if you're team. So when I had a team, I essentially had 2 hours. I had 1 hour for myself of preparation and 1 hour to make sure my team was prepared for the day and I was feeding into my team. I want to pause there. Does anyone have any questions about that? The first hour? Okay. Next is minimum of 3 hours of sales and marketing. So 2 hours where you're actually doing prospecting or follow-up. What I mean by prospecting is where you're reaching out to somebody you've never talked to. Where the follow-up is you've already talked to them, but you're staying in front of them, you're staying consistent. A lot of people don't know this, but the most powerful persuasion strategy on the planet is consistency.
So did you say 2 hours of follow up and then one of new prospects?
No, like a mix. So like I always started with prospecting to make sure I hit people that I didn't know first, and I would do that for 1 hour, and then people that then I transitioned to my follow up for the next hour. It wasn't always perfect, but it would flow from the top of the funnel down to the bottom of the funnel
But when do you add that time blocking? Because I have it in like twice a week right now, which probably isn't enough. And that's like me reaching out to people that are an agent to attract to my team or to attract to EXP. But how often do you do that?
So I'll share with you what I did and just kind of work it out for your schedule. So what I would do is you kind of have to have a checkup from the neck up, because this is a balancing act when you're in production and building a team, right? Mm-hmm. Can we all agree on that? It's a little bit of a balancing act, right? Until you get to the point where you have an inside sales agent or somebody setting up appointments for you. What I had to do is double time block. So in other words, I just had to have I had to have the same structure for agent attraction as I did for working my pipeline. So I would try to do 4 hours a week for agent attraction outreach, minimally a week. So I would just schedule that into my calendar. And then once I had an inside sales team, I was able to get a little bit more leverage there and spend even more time in agent attraction. So that's what I did. If that's too much for you, you do what you know you can commit to. But it has to be separate time blocks, in my opinion, for your agent attraction than it is for your buyer-seller follow-up or prospecting.
Yeah, okay, because I have it right now scheduled as like a blue for business. So even though it is considered lead gen with green, which I do just for clients because they've got the cash, right? But so B for business because I have the business meetings, and then I'm probably just going to commit to the 2 days a week right now and see if I can add more later on. But that was more than I was doing. So
look, if you're doing 2 days a week, you're doing more than 80% of all other team leaders when it comes to recruiting. If you can get to the point where you're doing 2 days a week for 2 hours a day, you're doing more than 80% of what team leaders are doing for recruiting. It's a really great start.
Okay.
I'm going to add to that is this tracking. You guys, this helps me so much when I'm doing my sales calls. I don't know about you, but I just have a tick sheet. This is so simple that I made myself of just like kind of what we're talking about when you lay out what you're doing for the day. It has past clients, sphere of influence, referrals, my different lead sources, and then it says dials, conversations, and appointments. I use this. It like makes me so happy when I use it because I'm like, look, I had this many conversations. And then you know your conversion rate, which helps a lot too. So that tick sheet helps a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, is anyone using the scoring, the daily scoring? I have one. Isaiah has one. Is anyone on here using the daily scoring?
I use your daily scoring. I just don't submit it to you, but I got a whole pile of them right here. I know. I do. I got a whole bunch like filled out and good to go, but I just haven't sent them to you guys. I'm sorry.
I use daily scoring, and I require my ISA to use the daily scoring too.
Oh my. So
Powerful for our mindset. Like going back to the beginning of the conversation, it's all about mindset, and like the market's not as bad as we think it is. Our perception is our reality. So I think it for our own mindset, it gives us a sense of accomplishment at the end of the day.
So you mentioned scoring. I'm so sorry. I don't want to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go.
So is this like in REN conversion IQ or anything like the scoring? I would love that because I need that, man.
Yeah, I think Ben, next week's mastermind, since we're kind of out of time for right now, why don't we break that down, or you break that down how the scoring system works next week?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love it.
Work for everybody?
Yeah.
Huge.
Cool.